Hello and welcome back to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Sprocket, West Kentucky, and KY Innovation. We are on episode 265. Excuse me. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about motivation. I've had a lot of conversations lately about different things that seem innocent but in reality are potentially calculated attacks against victims that they don't even realize they're a victim. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, about what's driving some of these bad guys. So let's just dig into it. First, let me swap this around. First and foremost, the primary motivation of hackers is financial gain. That's going to continue to be the case. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Financial gain is what drives most bad guys, and it will continue to drive most bad guys. So don't hear me say it's not. However, it's also worth noting that how that financial gain occurs can look different. We know not to put in our username and password on things if we don't know where it is, if it's not our normal way. We've talked about that. We talk about not clicking on things that then require us to log in, because that could be a way they're trying to steal our credentials to perhaps break into our bank account, or doing something to where they're actually stealing our money, my money. That's not always how the bad guys are doing it. It could be that they want you to click a link to drive traffic, and the traffic is how that they're making money. There's been case examples of people doing this, putting out fake news and driving people to click traffic and making millions of dollars. And that didn't really steal anything from me. It didn't take any money from me, but I read and I shared what ended up being not true. That's what was driving. There's a lot of stories. If you go to a local newspaper website that they have links to news articles that have nothing to do with the community, the state, anything that relates to that community, but it's about a celebrity that people are interested in, and they know that will drive traffic. So they're making money on that traffic generation. I'm not knocking that. That's fine. But you have to understand what's the motivation behind this. Most of what we see on social media is motivated by something. A lot of it's financial. These ads that you see. Why is somebody going to pay for an ad unless they're getting something out of it? Or news posts that are being shared by your friends. Even that, a lot of that's being generated by some motivation of somebody else. We're just the pawn in this situation. So anyway, there's a lot of that. Second, ideological motivations. These are our hacktivists, is what we call them. It might be political, it might be social causes. It could be a lot of different things. Really, these bad guys are activists that are pursuing something based on what they perceive is the best thing to do. So that case, you don't know what it is that they're doing. It could be that you supported Israel in the Gaza conflict the last few years, and they don't like that, or you were against Israel and they don't like that. It could be that you are pro ICE, or you're anti ICE, or it could be a lot of different things. I saw people who were targeted because of what they supported on social media. It could be that your company donated money to a political candidate that they don't like. It could be that you like the color blue and the bad guy doesn't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be logical. What is that motivation? But it's ideological in their mind about what causes they want to pursue and attack. This one's hard because you could be very passionate about a particular belief and it end up hurting you in the long run because of these hacktivists. You just have to be careful What I would recommend is just staying informed about what's happening and potential disruptions on that. All right. And these next two are interesting to me: curiosity and learning. Curiosity and learning, it's learning about systems. I'm not trying to actually steal money. I'm just trying to learn about how to do some of these things. And what you will find is that Kevin Mitnick, he is the self-proclaimed world's most famous former hacker. He passed away a couple years ago. He testified to Congress a few decades ago and talked about that he was a explorer. He wasn't trying to steal money, although it's still illegal. It doesn't matter. He was trying to see what he could learn about these systems, what he could actually do and create in these systems. Now, that once you learn, once you're curious, then maybe you want to make money. So it could lead to something else. Same way with this one: recognition and reputation building. These are the bad guys that are seeking recognition or reputation, fame, and respect. I want to be known as the best hacker in the world. I want to be known as the person that exposed whatever. There's a lot of motivations here that are very interesting, but also at the same time, they are um, a little bit different. That fame and respect could lead to financial something else. That fame and respect could drive um, to a financial motivation. But let me give an example of this. Back in the day, a lot of the bad guys were um, defacing websites. Defacing websites. So think of spray painting your name on a wall, graffiti. That's kind of what they were doing to websites. That was the goal. Was let's let's hack into your website and put my logo on it. That was all that we were doing. Or I wasn't doing. All the bad guys were doing. It was about recognition that my group did it or your group did it, and it was a competition to see who could deface websites. It wasn't necessarily about stealing money. It wasn't necessarily about anything else. They just wanted the respect that we're the best hacker group. What happened is that kind of morphed into financial gain. They stopped doing it for the recognition and started doing it about making money and how they could do that. So one could certainly lead into another. Next is state and corporate intelligence. This is probably the most sophisticated threat, the one that actually concerns me a lot because I think we're unknowing participants in many respects on this. So let me give an example of this. There was an FBI case study from a few years ago where there was an engineer for a private company in the Cincinnati area that got asked to speak at an event in China, and he went. One thing led to another. Ultimately, he was targeted. His laptop was compromised. He was forced and coerced into, which actually will lead into another one, but ended up unknowingly sharing corporate secrets with the Chinese government. That happens a lot. Corporate companies stealing data from other companies certainly happens. Nation states trying to target both our companies and our nation certainly happens. So there's the aspect of trying to steal stuff. There's also the aspect of misinformation. What is better for another nation than us fighting amongst ourselves? So how much information do we read and consume and believe when it's actually not about anything that's legit? It's actually about us fighting amongst ourselves. I actually believe that happens a lot more than actually I have informed opinions that happens a lot more than most people on social media realize. And I'll give an example, and I'm not going to make a political statement on this, but I want to share all that's going on with immigration with ICE right now. How much worse has it been made by the information flying around social media? Some real, some not real. It doesn't matter. It makes emotion strong on both sides, and I wonder how many decisions are being made based on the public response, pro and con, that actually originated with another nation pushing information out. I don't know. I don't have any informed knowledge on that specific incident, but using that as an example, if we're fighting amongst ourselves, then we're not focused on other nations. Anyway, I'm out of time. Last one, coercion and extortion. This is forcing victims into actions, kind of a little bit of what I was talking about with that engineer. And then finally, and what happens often is that things are a combination of motives. So we're looking at different motives. I think it's important to note that there isn't a single action, a single motive that I just need to be on the lookout for this. What I would tell you, and I'm way over on time, is the motivation matters for bad guys. And if we can stop for just a second, and think, why are they doing this? What are they trying to get from me? What can I learn before I take action, or before I believe this link, or before I click this link? That split second can be the difference in us losing money personally, or perpetuating a lie, or falling for a scam that we don't even know about. Anyway, hope that helps. Sorry I went so long today. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you next week back here on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.